Colossians chapter 3, verse 1. Are you there? Alright, you ready? If then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, listen to this, who is our life, when Christ, who is our life, appears, then you also will appear with Him in glory. And there's some good stuff that keeps going on as you read it. It even ends in verse 11. But Christ is all in and in all. Christ, who is our life, when He appears, they long for His appearing. They were looking for it. They were waiting for it. Now, when we say, I'm just waiting for His return, it's kind of like when you're in school, or maybe when you're at your job, and you know school ends at 3 o'clock. So for the last fourth of the day, you're just kind of checked out mentally. You're like, man, I just cannot wait for 3 o'clock to come around. So when that bell rings, I can get on with my life. We're just kind of like, whatever I got to do to skate by. That's not how He wants us to wait for His return. Right? When you're at work, you get whatever, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and you get maybe your little break, and you're 5 o'clock's ready. You're like, man, if I can just hold on for another hour and a half to 2 hours, I'm out of this job. Right? I'm just waiting for it. But you're not waiting for it with anticipation, doing everything you can do in that time. You're just trying to skip over whatever you really have to do and just kind of skip by. That's not how He wants us to wait. I want you to turn with me to 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3, I want us to look at how to wait for Jesus' return. Second Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3 is right after 1 Peter. If you have trouble finding it. Or it's on page 972. Preacher humor. It's not very funny. Very little humor. Alright, here we go. 2 Peter chapter 3. Beloved, I now write to you the second epistle, in both of which I stir up your pure minds by way of reminder. Just stop there just for a moment. This is what I do every week. It's stuff that you should know. It's stuff that I don't want you to get in the habit. Now, sometimes God reveals things that are new and fresh to you, but I don't want you to get into a habit where you're like, man, I can't wait to get to church so He can tell us something new. Right? This Bible is thousands of years old. Now, God's revealing revelation power makes it new every day. But it should be something that is a reminder to you. Right? I was talking about this last night. If you don't eat every day, you get hungry. So none of us willingly will say, man, I ate Sunday, so I'm not going to eat again until next Sunday. Because I got so full Sunday, I just can't eat again until next Sunday. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to live like that. I don't want you to depend on me. I'm not worth depending on. Right? But God is. His word is, I want you to eat it every day. That way when you come in here, everybody together, everything that I say, it's just reminding you to do what you already know to do. Amen? I know that's a big talk, just a little verse there, a little reminder. But verse 2. Actually, let me read that again. I now write the second epistle, in both of which I stir up your pure minds by way of reminder, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Savior, knowing this first, that scoffers will come in the last days, walking according to their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. Pause right there. Isn't that how a lot of people live today? How many of you were growing up hearing, Jesus is coming back? You better get your life ready. Jesus is coming back soon. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, people would stand in Los Angeles or wherever and have the signs that they would hang over them and stand on the street saying, repent, for Jesus is coming back. We've been saying it our whole life, and then not only that, but the Bible has been saying it for 2,000 years. And even before that, it prophesied before even Jesus came that his return was coming. So it's been happening for a long time. So a lot of you begin to live like we've been hearing this for generations. Generations that Jesus is coming. And we just begin to accept it almost like Santa Claus is coming. With me? So he says, listen, I want you to be aware of this, that in the last days, scoffers are going to come and they're going to be saying, where is his appearing? We've been hearing it for years. It's just not coming. It's a myth. It's a fable. It's a fairy tale. You all just do this to help yourself, comfort yourself, and man, let's just walk according to our own lust. Let's just do what we want to do because evidently he's not coming. It's just a bunch of baloney. He goes on to say, it's been this way since the beginning of creation. Things have just continued. Right? God created heaven and earth. He put man on the earth. Man sinned. And for thousands of years, it's just been the same time, just rolling on. But let me ask you a question. Let me put it this way, I guess. The Bible does say, in the beginning. So there was a time when things were not as they were now. There was no heaven and earth. There was no earth that was rotating the way it's rotating. Are you with me? So there was a time when things were different. It's not how we see it. We see things as, man, it's just always been like this. Let's keep going. Verse 5, for this they willingly forget, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of water in the water, by which the world that then existed perished, being flooded with water. That's kind of what I was talking about, but now in the grand scheme. So remember, he even flooded the earth with water. There was, as a matter of fact, when he created it, it was basically just a big ball of water. And then he said, I will create earth to separate, to divide the waters. And then he flooded it again with Noah. Right? Let's keep going. Being flooded, verse 7, but the heavens and the earth, which are now preserved by the same word, are reserved for fire until the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Verse 8, but beloved, do not forget this one thing, that with the Lord one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some count slackness, but is long-suffering toward us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. I said, one day for us could be like 1,000 years, or 1,000 years for us could be like one day for God. He's not limited. He's not inhibited by time. Right? So roughly, since what we know as possible time. We can have 4,000 years, 6,000 years, or maybe 6 million years. We really have no idea how long it's been since God created the heavens and earth. Are you with me? But we do know this, that there was a time that it began, and He tells us by His Word that there will be a time when it will end. He says He will create a new heaven and new earth. The old one will be destroyed. Things are not just going to continue forever. Right? We just don't know when. And He says the Lord is not slack concerning His promise. See, He has said, I'm coming back, and I'm not slack about it. It will happen. And then He says, and He's long suffering toward us, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Why would God send people to hell? He's not wanting to send people to hell. He is willing that none should perish. Right? He loves us so, that's why He warns us so, that we may escape the eternity of punishment. Here we go, verse 10. The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens will pass away with a great noise, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Both the earth and the works that are in it will be burned up. Therefore, since all these things will be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to His promise, look for new heavens and a new earth in which righteousness dwells. He says He's coming like a thief in the night. And another story says, who would willingly lay down and not keep his guard for defense if he knew the thief was coming? We talked about this last week. We've been talking about with the men reading in the book, is being watchful, looking for, guarding for. Who, if he knows it's going to come, is just idly laying asleep, not caring, not being concerned about it. Verse 14. Therefore, beloved, looking forward to these things, be diligent to be found by Him in peace, without spot or blameless, and consider that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation. Just pause right there for just a moment. He says, look forward to these things. Look forward to His return. Look forward to His coming. And He says, be diligent to be found by Him in peace. That way, when He returns, that we are on His side, that we have been expecting, anticipating His return, because He's not coming back all humble, meek, and mild when He comes back. He's coming back with a sword coming out of His mouth. He's coming with fire. He's coming with vengeance. So He said, when He comes back, be sure to be found in peace with Him. So when He just comes unexpectedly, you're ready. Right? How many of you hate for someone to just drop in on you without any like notice at all? They just knock on your front door and you're running around in your underwear. I don't know why you're doing that, but you're running around in your underwear, your clothes, everything's a mess, your house is a mess. Maybe you just got to eat spaghetti, you got spaghetti ring all around your mouth, and they want you to answer the door so that they can come in and fellowship with you. And you're nowhere near ready. Right? It's hard to just stay ready all the time. But Jesus says, that's how I'm coming back. I'm just popping in on you. I'm not even coming in loudly. I'm coming like a thief. I'm coming when it's quiet, coming when it's dark. I'm creaking in a window, and I'm coming in before you know it. Everything will be gone. The people who are not expecting His return, they're going to wake up one morning. And I'm not saying it's happening at night, but it's going to be like as of night. They're going to just wake up and say, man, I was robbed. Everything was taken. People are missing. All these people that belong to Christ, they're just gone. I didn't even know that He was here, and He just took everything. It was just robbed, taken advantage of. That's how it's going to feel to them, because everything is just going to be gone what they knew. Be steadfast. He goes on to say, verse 17, you therefore, beloved, since you know this beforehand, beware lest you also fall from your own steadfastness, being led away with the error of the wicked. But grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To Him be the glory both now and forever. He says, I'm coming, and I'm coming quick, and I'm coming quietly, and if you're not ready, you're going to be left behind. So be diligent, be steadfast. Don't be led away by the people's talk. One phrase in the Bible says it's going to be as in like the days of Noah, right? Which is pretty much today because we've had rain for 40 days straight. There's a picture I saw that there's a couple of cats. They're sitting and there's water around. They say, Noah just called. He's coming by to pick us up in 10 minutes. As in the days of Noah. When God warned Noah. So this is how it is. God warned Noah that it was going to rain and that it was going to flood. He said, I want you to build a boat. I want you to build an escape. I want you to build a way out for these people. And Noah warned them. Warned everybody. And everybody just said, Noah, you've been saying this. I wonder how they responded at first. I'm sure they probably thought it was crazy, but maybe for one, they just maybe got a little bit weird. Maybe, I don't even know what rain is. It's never rained before, but maybe Noah knows something that we don't know. But then after years of Noah building a boat, years after Noah saying, there is a flood coming, these people began to grow lax in that statement, and they said, we're just, no, we're done believing you. You're crazy, man. You've been saying this for years. We're just going to continue living. We're not going to waste our life away building a boat. It took Noah years. He didn't have people to just help him build a boat like in a day, and not to mention it was a pretty big boat. Think about it this way. There'd never been a boat before. He says, no, I want you to build a boat. All right, I can build me a little one-seater, some wood. He said, no, I want you to build enough so I can put every animal on the boat. You and your family on the boat. It's going to be a big boat. Because you're going to have to live in it for quite some time. I bet. This is a side note, but Noah had to follow God's plans pretty good because there's no way he could test the boat. Or see, there is no way that we get to test the way we live. So, if I live just like on this line, I'll be good with God, and I can still live in this world somewhat comfortably. But we don't know. There is no standard. We can't test it. We can't meet God now and stand before Him in judgment and say, well, you did just enough to get in. You did just enough right with the boat to keep it afloat. That's not how I want to live. All right? Let's turn to Luke chapter 12. I want to look at a parable, and it actually has three people in it that I want to look at. So turn to Luke chapter 12, and this will be about all we get to this morning. I've been preaching for about 20 minutes now, for those of you that seem like it's a lot longer than that. But I'm going to try to wrap it up about 10 more minutes, if that's possible, okay? I got many more pages. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get through this. Luke chapter 12. We're there. Let's start in verse 35. Aaron. All right. Faithful servant and the evil servant. Verse 35. Let your waist be girded and your lamps burning. Let me just suffice that to say, it's to be ready. All right, I'll get into it more, but let your waist be girded and your lamps burning. And you yourselves be like men who wait for their master, when he will return from the wedding, that when he comes and knocks, they may open to him immediately. Blessed are those servants, whom the master, when he comes, will find watching. Assuredly, I say to you that he will gird himself and have them sit down to eat, and will come and serve them. And if he should come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. But know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. Then Peter said to him, Lord, do you speak this parable only to us, or to all people? And the Lord said, verse 42, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his master will make ruler of his household, to give them their portion of food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will make him ruler over all that he has. But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, that the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in two, and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And that servant who knew his master's will, and did not prepare himself, or do according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. Now, I want you to just go back, because many times we'll just read this so quickly that we're like, okay, one's just two guys, and one's faithful, one's evil. But I want us to look at this a little bit differently. Look at verses 12, or chapter 12, verses 35 through 38. Let's look at this as in, here he says, let your waist be girded, your lamps burning, and you yourselves be like men who wait for the master when he will return from the wedding, that when he comes and knocks, that they may open to him immediately. We're going to look at this guy who is ready, and we're going to call him the doorkeeper. Okay? This doorkeeper is paying attention for his master who is coming home. He says, all right, who wait for their master when he will return from the wedding. that when he comes and knocks, that they may open to me. This guy, this doorkeeper, is sitting there just waiting to do his job effectively. He has to stay by the door, he has to stay ready, and he has to be watching, so that when the master returns, he may open to him immediately. If he's in the kitchen fixing him a sandwich, that's redneck for sandwich, then when he comes knocking on the door, he cannot open to him immediately. But he has to scurry up and scurry through the house to get to the door to open it. So, the master is gone. The doorkeeper is watching the door. He wants us to stand firm and keep our positions even when we're not being closely monitored. Right? I'm here Sunday, I'm here Wednesday, I'm available whenever you may need me. But I do not closely monitor you and make sure that you're keeping your candle burning. I'm not watching over you day and night, making sure you're watching your door. I want you to stand firm even when you're not being closely monitored. Alright? We've all done that work. Right? And I know we're guilty of it, so it's not a big thing. Right? Stephen was telling about he's got a new job, so he's got new things he has to do. He says when he knows that there is a man who's higher up standing there watching him, then he's thinking, don't mess up, I'll make sure I got to do everything that I'm supposed to do right. We all do that in some regard, so I'm not just, Stephen's a good man, so I'm not saying he's dishonest. I'm saying we all do that. But in terms of God's return, that's not how he wants us to be. He wants us to be anticipating, looking for it. So here's the doorkeeper. Like Philippians 1, verse 27, just as a reference, says, let your conduct be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or am absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. He says, whether I come and see you or whether I'm gone, I'm praying that you're doing the exact same thing, whether I'm there or whether I'm not. He says, and it might take a while. If it's in the second watch, or maybe it's in the third watch. Could you imagine if you're the doorkeeper and you're sitting up in the first watch? This is so accurate. How many of you ever had a package being delivered by UPS to your home? And they say, you've got to sign this package. Or maybe you're just really waiting on it to come. And so we're going to be here on this day, and this is the time that will come. Right? This could be the telephone company, cable company, anybody. They'll say, we'll be there between the hours of 9 to 5. They'll be there between the hours of 12 to 5. Are you with me? I've never had that. Honestly. And you had to sit and wait. Right? And lo and behold, you'll sit there from 12. Alright, maybe they'll be here at 12. And you sit by the door. At our home, our foyer is kind of closed off, so it's not easily heard, the door. You can't be in the kitchen and hear a door knock. So sometimes we kind of have to leave the front door open, or we used to have a doorbell, but it dies, and now we have to just replace it. So now it's hard to hear anything at the front door. So we have to be nearby, listening, waiting. And 12 comes. UPS guy don't show up. 1 o'clock comes. Not here. 2 o'clock comes. Alright, I hope he comes by 2 or 3 because now I got this I need to do. If he'll come. 3 o'clock comes. He's not there. 4 o'clock comes. He's not there. It comes to 5 o'clock and you're like, this is ridiculous. I've sat at this door for 5 hours and the guy's not here. And at like 5:05, he shows up right before he's getting ready to go home and check out. You're just like, really? Of the whole time, I just had to be the last person. Now, I'm not trying to upset any UPS workers, or maybe you know someone that works at the UPS, FedEx, whatever the case may be. I think they just sit in their truck until like the last hour, and they're like, now I can make my 20 deliveries in an hour, and I can go home. Everybody's just sitting waiting. maybe, though, that 12 to 5 is just the first watch. And you're like, okay, I waited the first watch. That's all I can wait. I put my whole first watch into this package coming. And then the second watch passes. And we get into the third watch. And we'll say, this is ridiculous. This is absurd. I have waited on this UPS man or FedEx man, and I'll combine the two, and I'm just fed up. I'm tired of waiting on him. I've waited through 2 watches. Now I'm into the third watch. This is ridiculous. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go do what I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and go shower. I'm going to go ahead and go fix me a sandwich. I'm going to go ahead and just whatever. I want to do what I want to do. The fed up man is keeping me from doing what I want to do. Well, guess what happens? You turn the water on for your shower. You get in the shower. And then the dog starts going crazy because the UPS man is there. You waited a long time. You probably went way and above, beyond the call of waiting. And Jesus says, if I come to the third watch, if the master comes in the third watch and finds you not waiting, if you'll be waiting, he said, blessed are those servants. Let's look at the next guy. Verses 39 and 40. Know this, if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore you also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. This is the parable of the homeowner, the master, the one who owns everything. He says you need to be prepared. You need to be ready. Right? I don't believe, this is not me, this is just a quote. I don't believe in gun violence. But if you have a thief that you somehow know is coming to your house that night, guess what you are going to do? You're going to get your little gun, and you're going to make sure the ammo's in it, and you might hide your gun here, you might hide your gun there. That way you know wherever you go in the house, you can get to a gun. You might not want to shoot anybody, but you're just going to scare the thief off. You are prepared. You are ready. You make sure your gun is clean. You make sure it's loaded. You make sure it's ready. You make sure maybe you got your ball back. I don't care what it is, but you're ready. You have your phone ready. You got 911 ready. You got dialed on your phone. You just got to hit send. As soon as you hear one little creak upstairs on the window, you start dialing. I think someone's trying to break my house. You're prepared. You're ready. You're anticipating. You're not going to be able to sleep. Almost in First Thessalonians chapter 5. It says this. You don't have to turn there, just listen. 1 Thessalonians 5, starting in verse 1. Concerning the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I should write to you. For you yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so comes as a thief in the night. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as labor pains upon a pregnant woman, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, so that this day should overtake you as a thief. You are all sons of light and sons of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night. And those who get drunk are drunk at night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and as a helmet, the hope of salvation. For God did not appoint us to wrath, but to obtain salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with Him. He says, listen, you can live, you can be asleep, and you can be drunk, but you're going to miss it. He says, but you need to be awake, you need to be ready, and you need to be sober. You need to think clearly. Right? Our world loves the things that get you out of your own mind. The drugs, the alcohol, the things that contort the way you think. Because then you're not sober. You're not thinking clearly. I got to hurry, so I'll move on. Last one. Luke chapter 12, verses 41 through 47. Peter said to him, Lord, you speak this parable only to us or to all people? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward? Alright, so we're going to look at the steward now. Whom his master will make ruler over his household to give them their portion of food in due season. Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly, I say to you that he will make him ruler over all that he has. But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, there's that, so being sober again and not watching, the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. Man, that seems awfully rash, doesn't it? Seems awfully severe. Just keep on. And then that servant who knew his master's will and did not prepare himself or do according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. Pause right there. The steward, right? This is kind of a poor example. There's teenagers, not really many teenagers here, but we know how teenagers are. We even act this way sometimes. But it's kind of like a teenager or a kid. And you said, okay, it's 4 o'clock. In 2 hours, we're going to be eating dinner. Don't fill yourself up with junk food. Because you're going to fill yourself up with junk food if you do. And 6 o'clock comes, we're going to be eating dinner, and you're not going to be hungry. And then you're going to give yourself a tummy ache because you ate a bunch of junk food and not what you should eat. They want junk food, they want fed now. But even though a healthy, good meal will be available later, all they have to do is wait and be ready. He says, this steward, I'm putting you over my house, putting you over all my stuff, and I'm coming back. But you just don't know when he's coming back. He said, I'll put you over the house, I've given you authority. He says, but then the steward, just because he puts him over his house doesn't mean that he wants him to do it his way. He wants the steward to do it the master's way. The steward could say, well, I don't know when he's returning, so my way is I'm going to beat these people in shape. So that we get the job done that the master wants done, so that when he comes back, the work is done. But when the master comes back, he says, I'm coming back at a time that you don't know. When I come back, you're beating my servants. You might be getting the job done that I want you to get done, but you're not doing it the way that I want you to do. You're not doing it according to my purpose. You're not doing it according to my plan. We have to have endurance. That does not mean just sit idly by, doing nothing, waiting for his return. That means endurance is that you keep on doing what is right, what he has asked you to do until he returns. It's like a marathon run. There's only one way that you're going to finish it. And that's to just keep doing what you know you got to do. You got to keep stepping foot after foot, running. You still got to keep hydrating. You got to take a break, maybe use the bathroom here and there. It's 26 miles, for goodness sakes. There's only one way that you make it. It's endurance. Look here. Hebrews chapter 10. Again, read. Just listen. I'm done after this. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 32 through 39. Recall the former days in which, after you were illuminated, you endured a great struggle with sufferings. Partly while you were made a spectacle, both by reproaches and tribulations, and partly while you became companions of those who were so treated. For you had compassion on me and my chains, and joyfully accepted the plundering of your goods, knowing that you have a better and enduring possession for yourselves in heaven. They took your stuff here on earth, but you have a better and enduring possession for yourselves in heaven. Therefore, do not cast away your confidence, which has great reward. For you have need of endurance, so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he who is coming will come and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. But if anyone draws back, my soul has no pleasure in him. How much of a shame would it be for you to run a marathon not knowing how far you had to go, and you ran for 25 miles. A marathon is 26.2 miles. And if you would run 25 miles, and you would run 25 and a half miles, and you would run 25 and 3/4 miles, and you would run 26 miles, and you said, man, this is ridiculous. When is this race going to end? And you give up, and you just say, man, I ran 26 miles. That ought to be good enough. Only to know 0.2 miles is the finish line. 0.2 miles is the moment when you return to Jesus. And you say, the just shall live by faith in Jesus, but if anyone draws back, my soul has no pleasure in him. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not an easy way to live. It's not a popular way to live, especially in our day and age. Our day and age says, store up for your retirement so that you can enjoy your life. Just live comfortably now. Make your own little heaven on earth, right? Enjoy this life because who knows what next life is, right? You're a good person, God's not going to send you to hell. So just, you live for the day. You live for now. YOLO. You only live once. I love that statement because it's so true, but you live once, but it's for eternity. That's the part that we leave out. You live once, it's for eternity. What you do here determines where you live then. So let us not grow weary in well-doing, for we shall receive that harvest. We shall receive that reward. All right? So, it is not an easy thing. It by no means, and I'm not saying, it's simple. Just forget about everything else on earth and just live for heaven. Anticipate it. Be ready. Be girded. Keep your candle burning. Stay on fire. Don't let it go out. I've just seen so many people. The Bible says in the last days there will be a falling away. Are you with me? How much do we care about where they spend eternity? Do you love them enough to think about, in light of eternity, where you're going to spend it? Now, again, I'm not saying you cannot cram it down their throats and say, if you don't get saved now, you're going to burn in hell. That's probably not going to work. But you got to tell them the truth out of love, out of compassion. Say, listen, I'm not trying to be weird. And you do it your own way. But I'm not trying to be weird, but this life doesn't last forever. There will be an eternity that will spend, and I want to make sure you're ready. I love you. I want you to bow your head, close your eyes. I want you to ask yourself, I want you to search yourself. And just ask yourself, how well do you think that you have been doing in living with eternity on your mind? With the day of Jesus' return on your mind? Loving His appearing. Anticipating. Not just idly waiting, but being ready.